Assalamu'alikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Salsabeelah Khalid, and today I'm going to be summarizing or reflecting on Yasmin Mogahed's video titled Hope in God. And I'm only going to be mainly discussing about 3 points due to time constraint of this video. So let's dive into the video. Okay, so the first point that I wanted to talk about was what Yasmin Mogahed mentioned in that video. So first she gave an analogy about a climber climbing the mountain with a sturdy rope, and then she gave another scenario where the climber decides not to use that rope to climb all the way to the top and instead use the twigs to get all the way to the top. And she further explained what will happen. Well, obviously, the twigs are going to snap and break because they are weak to carry the weight of the climber. And I just wanted to add my perspective in this is that, for example, as a human, I'm the climber, and there is another friend. She would be the twig in this case. So I put in all of my hope and burdens on her. And then eventually, when you keep doing this, one day that friend is going to snap. That is because human beings are merely weak. We're created weak. And which is why it's so important to place that hope and trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because He will never break and He will never snap. Okay, so that is it for this point. The second point that I wanted to talk about is what Yasmin Mogahed mentioned in her video about shaitan being arrogant when he refused to bow down to Adam alayhi salam, and as a result he could not stay in heaven any longer, and shaitan basically he blamed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he wanted to get revenge by saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, give me time and I will lead all of your ummah astray. So I also wanted to add my perspective here is that we do this more often than you think. We love to blame the people around us for our downfalls and for our faults. We never want to take responsibility for the consequences that come after our action, and that is so important. And the next thing that I wanted to highlight on this point is that the concept of revenge, where we're faced with the consequences of our actions and we're not too happy with it. So we want to go ahead and get revenge. So if you think back about it, that concept actually came from shaitan. And by applying this, we're actually encouraging the concept that he originally came up with. Okay, and so the last point that I wanted to talk about was about the concept of thinking that religious people are perfect. And I want to talk about why that concept can be very harmful. So I'll be adding my perspective into it. It's because for example, when you have that concept that this religious person is perfect, so then they themselves expect to be perfect. And this is where you have issues of like extremism and terrorism coming into place. And the second part of this point is that I actually wanted to give an example and a scenario. So, for example, you have this girl, she's wearing the hijab and she fully has the intention to wear the hijab for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But you see that girl and she's not wearing the hijab the way you want her to wear it. So, as a result, you tell her that, you're not wearing the hijab properly, why don't you just take it off? And she continues getting remarks like that from other people, and then she eventually decides to take it off. And even after she decides to take it off, we still have something to say about it. And so, in a way, what we just did, we just condemned someone from practicing their religion. Okay, this is actually really bad. And the second part to this point, uh, to this example, is that I wanted to add that, for example, you have this girl, she has the intention to wear the hijab, she really wants to wear the hijab, but she does not have the courage to put it on because she believes that she has to be perfect when putting the hijab on, that she cannot make any sort of mistakes. And again, that's really bad because of us, she does not have the courage to wear it. And I think we need to really reflect on ourselves, uh, because we as human beings are flawed and will always be flawed. We'll never be perfect. And that's that. We will never be perfect. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is perfect and will always be perfect. So, that's basically it for this video. I really do hope you did enjoy. Thank you.